The air tonight is too still, as if the wind has forgotten how to move. And I walk down the narrow gravel road with the uneasy awareness that each crunch beneath my boots echoes a fraction too long, as though the sound is reluctant to die, stretching itself thin into the night until it's swallowed by something waiting just beyond hearing. And I tell myself, I've walked this way home from the station dozens of times before. The skeletal trees leaning over the path like crooked old men were always there, their branches like brittle fingers scratching at the sky, the faint glimmer of the town's streetlights always dim in the distance. Yet tonight there is a wrongness in the way the stars hang above me. Not twinkling, not flickering, but fixed and cold. Uh, Arranged in a geometry I can't remember ever seeing before. And the longer I look, the more I feel as though they're not points of light, but punctures in the firmament. Holes peering into something vast and sightless that peers back. And my skin prickles because the night smells different. No longer damp and leafy, but dry, metallic. The taste of iron crawling onto my tongue without me opening my mouth, and somewhere in the dark, a low hum begins. So faint at first, I think it's my own blood rushing in my ears, but it grows. A vibration in the bones rather than the air. And I stop walking, realizing the hum has a rhythm. Not mechanical, not natural. Something in between, something alive, like the measured breathing of an unseen beast that is impossibly far and unbearably close at the same time. And when I glance behind me, the path is gone, not shrouded in shadow, but simply absent, replaced by a gradient of blackness so deep that my mind skitters away from trying to comprehend its depth, and I feel the sudden, absurd certainty that if I step back, I will fall forever, so I force my gaze forward, heart pounding, only to see that the trees ahead have drawn closer together, their trunks bending inwards, the space between them narrowing as if they are conspiring to herd me towards something. And even though every instinct in me screams to run, I move forward because my feet no longer seem entirely my own, carrying me toward that thickening wall of shadow. And the hum now has threads of whispers winding through it, not in any language I know, but in one that makes my stomach twist. Syllables heavy with the weight of eons, words shaped for mouths far older than human. And each time they rise and fall, I see faint ripples pass through the air, distortions that bend the outlines of the trees and make them waver like reflections in dark water. And the ground itself feels softer beneath me now, yielding slightly as if a thin skin covers something pulsing below. And the thought that I am no longer walking on soil, but on the stretched surface of some vast, unseen organ lodges in my mind and will not leave. And my breath comes fast as the gap between the trees finally closes entirely, sealing me inside a tunnel of knotted limbs and twisting roots that pulse faintly with a light that doesn't illuminate so much as it reveals, showing me shapes crawling just beneath the bark, slow, deliberate movements that leave faint trails of darkness behind them, and the air in here is thicker, warm, clinging to my skin like the breath of something leaning too close. And with each step, the hum and whispers fuse into a single sound, a deep, resonant chord that feels like it is tuning my body to match its frequency until I can feel my heartbeat aligning with it. Slow, deliberate, inevitable, and my head begins to feel lighter, as though the top of my skull is thinning, the air pressing against it from the outside with a weightless insistence. And I tell myself I just need to get through to the other side, that the tunnel will end and I will see the town again. But the walls around me breathe, contracting subtly, exhaling a damp, sweet odor that is both intoxicating and revolting. And somewhere in that scent is the memory of something ancient and oceanic, as if the air has been exhaled by something that has never once breathed in the world I know. And I realize with sudden clarity that this tunnel is not a passage but a throat, and that I have been walking deeper into the mouth of something whose body is larger than any landscape I can conceive. And still my feet move, because the rhythm is in me now, pulling me forward with the inevitability of a tide. And in the darkness ahead there is a movement, not the skittering of small things, but the slow, deliberate shift of something immense. And I can see now that the tunnel ahead opens into a chamber where the air shimmers with an oily, rippling distortion. And every instinct in me says I should not look, that to see will be to know, and to know will be to belong. Yet the pull is irresistible. and I step into the chamber, my eyes dragged to the center, where the distortion thickens. And in that shifting blur, I see glimpses of shapes that should not be, angles bending in ways that defy dimension, surfaces that move like liquid yet cast shadows like stone. And within them eyes, not round, not human, but layered and infinite, each reflecting a universe in decay. And the hum now is a roar without sound, a vibration that shakes my thoughts loose, unmooring them from the fragile raft of my identity. And I feel names, memories, the boundaries of who I am, slipping away into the blackness beneath those eyes. And in their place, something older begins to root, tendrils of thought that are not mine curling through my mind. And with them comes an understanding that this is not the first time, that the road I walked was not to my home, but to here, always to here, and that I have walked it more times than the stars have burned in the sky. And each time I have forgotten, and each time I have been brought back to remember, because I am not separate from what waits here in the dark, but part of it, a cell in its vast and unfathomable body. And the knowledge settles in my bones like a second skeleton, heavier and truer than the first. And though part of me still strains against it, still screams to be free, the rest of me bows, and I realize the hum has stopped because it is now inside me, in the marrow, in the blood. And when I look again into those impossible eyes, they are closer. And I understand that what waits here has no interest in destroying me because I was never separate to begin with.